I'm glad you brought up Quanah Parker, because I think that we have someone now in the 21st century who's just John Ford reborn, and Taylor Sheridan is going to be doing Empires of the Summer Sun. He's writing, and he secured the rights to it, so he's going to write and direct a film about Quanah Parker. And a lot of Native people are up in arms about it, and rightly so. It's appalling, and I think Janice Schmieding said it best. Why does he think he has the right to tell this story? And in this day and age, when there are so many amazing Native filmmakers and actors and screenwriters, why we have this carbon copy or this clone of John Ford doing these films and doing these television series is appalling. And we haven't ever moved past. I mean, Costner's the same way. I haven't seen, and I won't ever pay to see his new film, but that one's about Apaches, or it's on Apache land. We have not moved past this idea of the mythology of the West, and this regeneration through violence, which seems to be at the heart of every single Western we have. And this Hollywood white male way of dealing with the ideological anxiety that comes from knowing that a country was founded based on genocide, knowing that you're on stolen land, knowing that some of the ways that you conquered or won this land was through rape and child murder, stealing children, stealing women, killing women, and it's still going on today. And so we have Taylor Sheridan, who's John Ford Jr., who is not only making films about missing and murdered Indigenous women, but he's also claiming that he is responsible for the reauthorization of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Act, or the Violence Against Women Act. He claimed that after Wind River came out. So there's a lot of real anxiety around the Western within the very people who create them, and yet they keep creating them in the exact same way. And it's echoing, as you all talked about. I mean, it's echoing what's going on in the world today. Like we can't seem to understand the reality of the situation is being mirrored in these films, because that would create too much anxiety. We'd have to take responsibility for the fact that, yes, we've committed genocide. This country was based on genocide. This country is based on land theft. This country is based on murder of women, stealing of children. We're doing it in Palestine. We did it in this country. It's 4th of July and 4th of July, and it's still happening. And we're watching movies in 1956 that are also probably going to be coming out in 2026, which is the exact same story. And it's the exact same men telling the same stories and showing the same things. And I don't know how, other than reclaiming these narratives, which has been happening, but reclaiming them and not allowing these people to keep telling these stories, because they're not changing. The endings don't change.
It makes me even think about, I haven't watched the whole film, and I know you all did a film review of it, but Killers of the Flower Moon, like what's actually different, like, from The Searchers and Killers of the Flower Moon? It's just like, I started watching that film, I was like, oh wow, this is just a Western, and it's about raping and killing Native women. Why would I want to watch this? And it's The Searchers is like, why would I want to watch this? And it's like, because I have a friend named Sina, and he's like, hey, I seen something really fucked up, and I want to hear your opinion on it. I know we're not supposed to swear.
And Scorsese idolized John Ford. So this
is core American culture. And people watch this, and then they went to Vietnam, they went to Korea. People watched this 10 years later, or like a few years later, when they were going to Vietnam. People watched this and they were going to Iraq. When they were in Iraq, they probably play it in a barracks somewhere. Like, this is a, and then there's the broader thing, and this is, maybe we can get to this part of the question, which is the larger genre of, excuse the slur, but this is the, like, cowboys and Indians, and like playing cowboys and Indians as like a let's say foundational task of American like boyhood specifically. But I imagine girls, did it too. But ultimately, like, there is this need to narrate America's continued imperial expansion. And by the way, this came out in 56. America is at its ascendance, right? Like, this is America at its peak, like economically, militarily. This is like, it doesn't get any better than this for America. Maybe a little later. I mean, it depends on how you draw the map of American power. But ultimately, like, Europe is in ruins. The Cold War is in full, like, you have a clean and clear enemy. The Cold War is in full swing. And all of a sudden you have this deep, like, a Western is in a sense a nostalgic genre, right? It looks backwards to this non-existent period of time, and it romanticizes, it takes kind of stock characters and it places them in these settings. I mean, the depravity of also like using Monument Valley, which is this important site, religious and like spiritual and cultural site for the Navajo people, and you just use it as a backdrop for why we do colonization. That, like, we are, that family is a colony, like that is a colony in the way that those Zionist colonies right on the border with Gaza were colonies, like filled with armed people.